Welcome back to the Ireland Rugby Social, where we are now joined by rugby and sporting legend Lindsay Peat.
Hello, lads.
We did a little clap, Lindsay.
Looking very good.
Nice.
Thanks very much.
Yeah,
fashionable.
Thanks
you got
to
the
Conor.
IDS memo.
I
Because
did,
he's normally the fashionable one on this operation.
Well, I knew what I was up against with
I've
pretty boy here.
I have no wardrobe left after we moved. We moved from Limerick to Dublin. Remember something like
Oh,
that?
you did, yeah.
So I've been allowed like a fifth of my wardrobe.
You don't have a walk-in?
Nope. No walking.
Stop that.
I know. Yeah.
Once he moves to Derry and builds his house, he's going to...
Oh, yeah.
well,
I'll
you'll
have a wing.
one.
A wing.
Oh,
yeah. So
that's all right.
I'm just dealing with scraps at the minute. So
Because I was disappointed that you didn't have a walk-in wardrobe. Now that I know that's in the plans, then...
I only have a walking wardrobe in Limerick and Derry, not in Dublin. Too expensive.
It's too expensive.
Too
It's
expensive.
an extra 100 grand on a gaff if you
Yeah.
want a walk-in wardrobe
It
here.
is. Yeah. So that's where we're at.
So you're recovering from injury, is that right?
I am. I was trying to recover from a labrum tear and went back playing basketball and fully ruptured my Achilles and had surgery. So thankfully I'm now out.
How long are you out of the boot? Because last time we were...
About 3 weeks nearly now. So it's good. I started driving a week early, so that was good because with children.
Oh, shit, a right foot, yeah.
I have an automatic, but then so it's been good.
Do you think your body's trying to tell you something?
You
Yeah,
won't listen
keep
to
going.
it though, yeah,
No.
keep going, yeah.
I do
That's
this.
the way you're wired.
No. Keeps me out of trouble, keeps me young, and keeps me on the buzz balls and a bit of
Yeah,
crack.
balance we were
That's it.
saying.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Because otherwise I'd
buzzballing
be-
all week.
Yeah, it'd be too much crack on one side and no discipline on the other. So the sport keeps me disciplined, and I'm able to adult on some level then. So that's where I have to go with that.
Yeah.
But we'd good crack. And I think it's important because we've a fabulously young team who are really talented, but I'm that grouchy one, like the Grinch who like
Holds it all together.
yeah, I'm like, standards are up here, lads. Can anyone see them? Do you
But you can still have buzzballs with your teammates.
Yeah,
That's
like-
still...
The gas thing is
You have
it's
to be
a
able to
lovely
mingle with
surprise. It's like when I wear a dress, people are like, whereas when I have a bit of crack, I think they're like, oh, she's actually human.
Yeah.
And then it's too much crack and I kind of scare them. So it's a nice balance. I scare them in both ways.
I'd say so.
But no, I try and mix a bit of coaching of the scrum and then try and play as well. So that's a hard balance because it's
Play
coaching.
coach.
Yeah, because I'm like coaching players that I played with, like who
Yeah, do
we
you find
played
it hard?
internationally.
Yeah. Or do they...
You love it.
Do they listen to you properly? Do you know what I mean? Or are they like, oh, go fuck off?
Well, that's the hard balance I find because you don't want to be like minus crack. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, our
You're-
best memories are having the crack.
Yeah,
at training.
100%, yeah. And you have to bring a bit of discipline.
Yeah, I have to bring a bit of-
You're
well,
on the
they're-
other side, kind of, but you're not.
Well, they're mad for chat. They're like, "Meh, meh." They're like gaggling geese. They get all excited, and I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
And it's just because
Fucking
you've they're like, oh, teach a scrum in 15 minutes. I'm like, for God's sake, 15 minutes, we get nothing done. But so I have to kind of say to them, listen, I'm sorry, I'm grouchy, but we've a 15-minute window here.
You got to do your job as well. Yeah, that's fair.
And the scrum did so well. We had some lovely. We actually scored some pushover tries and got some nice penalty tries off scrum. So I suppose for me.
That's a big tick beside
It
your name.
is, yeah. No, not for me necessarily. No, it's all on the girls. I'd love to say, oh yeah, I'm just
You're the mastermind,
fabulous.
yeah.
But I suppose the scrum is so hard to coach because, it's a bit different. Because on say a tackle, you're like, oh, that's fabulous. There's an outcome. If you fundamentally, achieve all the teaching points and they execute that, there's an outcome of hitting past the gain line. But individually, scrum wise, you're like, well, what do you feel? What is the opposition tie head doing to you? If they can't tell me that, then I can't fix it for them. Do you know what I mean? You can fix some things if you see they're the tie head is cutting our loose head off. And you might say, right, you need to lock down your shoulder and you need to you and the hooker need to drive down on the back of their neck. So
There
there's
is a
little teaching
Connor's
points.
lost.
No, I am lost 100%,
Yeah.
but there's so many moving parts to a scrum. I spent my whole career beside the scrums, and it's just
It's
when you hear
fascinating,
front
isn't
rows
it?
talk about, you're just like, what? But
Yeah.
there is, I do understand it, and because they sometimes at one point I heard before is our loose head would go off on his own little journey.
Yeah, and I used to do that.
Yeah,
And what happens
and then that
is,
can completely
you
screw all 7 players up. It's
So
just-
you've the tie head going it was great for me with Ailish Egan because Ailish would be like, Linz, you're I need you to not. I was so aggressive because you're trying to win
trying
this
to beat
space.
yeah.
So she'd be like, so then the opposition might be taking the hit and then everything would drive through her side. So she was like, I need you to be less aggressive, and that was great feedback because that's the chat you need. So I'm like, okay then.
But it's tempting then when
Absolutely.
you feel like you can win.
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah.
and then my ass would kick out, which is the biggest part of me. And referees, it's a real easy point, and I'm like, don't punish me because I've like my derriere is quite easy to see.
Have
so.
you said that to a referee before? Probably have.
I
You
probably have actually, yeah. I was trying to win referees over, and I just obviously had a cheeky face, so I did not. Like there was other people like
You do try and win them over.
Oh,
don't you?
absolutely!
Yeah.
You'd be flirting away trying to really like get on their good side. And I tell you, who was brilliant at it was Ciara Griffin, like
Really?
Junior. Oh yeah, like she was just
buttered
fabulous.
them up.
And I was like, tell me your secrets because I just don't have it. So I just used to keep my mouth shut.
Johnny should have flirted with a few referees. It'd be a bit nicer.
No, me and him are like carbon copies. We were like grouchy. We were like chewing a wasp. We were like. Rah, rah, rah.
He played the grumpy.
Or Johnny said to the ref before, "I know you hate me, but you have to talk to me. You have to talk to me." So that was his kind of.
And that was on the mic.
Yeah, it was
and
on
I
the mic.
Like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
no, please.
It was like a French. He's like, I don't hate you. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tell us the team you're coaching. I don't think.
Railway Union. So we've played. I've some great memories. It's 10 years, and like I only get into rugby because I moved like.
You were late, weren't you?
Yeah, I was 35. Was I started, and it was literally because
Started from scratch.
from scratch at
35.
35, and that's when like
36. How many caps?
38 caps.
38 caps.
Retired when I hit 41, and
Wow.
I'd love to have kept going, but I mean we hadn't made the World Cup, so there was no point in me staying. Like I was serving nothing for the next 4 years. Do you know what I mean? And it was such a regret that I didn't start rugby earlier. But at the same time, I'd fabulous sporting memories before that with basketball and GA.
Yeah,
so I mean, I can't be selfish, but yeah, I moved from north side to south side. I didn't want to change clubs, and I wanted to try something new. So I was like, I'd lost an All Ireland with Dublin in 2014. I was heartbroken. Like we were, like I'd people leave at half time because we were 10 points up, and we ended up losing by a point. It's Cork.
In that All Ireland.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
You got
still
one.
hurt.
I have one.
You've won.
I have won 3 finals and 1 All Ireland medal. So.
Was the win was the middle one, was it?
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah, so you got it.
We
yeah.
played Tyrone. So
Looking at me.
yeah.
I know the accent. The accent comes out for every word.
Ulster
you know.
6 with Ulster, so any Ulster
I'm an
person in
opera
this
man.
room.
We hurl the football. The football would be too strong. My
Oh,
pardon.
that's all right. Tom Tierney, Lord rest him. You
Yeah.
knew Tom.
Yeah,
Tom was lovely, and it was Tom who gave me my first chance. Like I played at the back pitch, UL, right? It was one of my first games, and I was playing at 8 that Tom saw me, and it was actually Fiona Hayes. I come off scrum, she gave me a dead leg. Now I mean the weather was septic, and I'm lying
Back
there.
pitches of UL as well is a tough place to be. Yeah.
And you know a dead leg that actually like goes right up to your brain. You're like, oh Jesus! And I'm like lying
Proper
there,
corker. Yeah.
yeah, just in pools of just puddles on the pitch, and I'm like, what am I doing? And then yeah, Tom rings me like, oh, you know, we'd like to invite you up to camp, and it was my wedding anniversary that weekend. I was like, phew. I was like, wedding anniversary, I won't do it. And then I thought he was off my back, and he still gave me the call then the next day. But anyway,
Yeah.
it was that after that first Six Nations, which I hadn't got a clue what I was doing. Like I was coming into a team who had won Grand Slams,
Yeah,
who had
they
got
were
to a
proper,
semi-final,
yeah.
and it was them who motivated me. Like I remember getting off work early to go home to watch them against semi-final against England.
The way before you hit, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
before
so it was just after
coming
that
to it,
then.
yeah, you took it off.
So I'm going into this camp like with the likes of, well, Fee had retired, but she had like Claire Malloy, Paula, Hobb.
The Grand Slammers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nora
yeah.
Stapleton. Like these were unbelievable people. Like, and like after that Six Nations, Tom was like, well, I threw you in the deep end. And I was like, yeah, you did. So
How did
that's
you
the
go
way
when
I
you,
learned.
when you went in the deep end? Did you?
Hadn't got a clue. Like, you know, I used to look at players, and Maz Riley was brilliant. Like, I remember her coming on, she goes, you're only on the pitch and I need more from you. And I was like, I had to be honest. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, and she kind of stopped and she was like, okay. And as much as they were very hard on us, like,
Yeah.
really hard. But I was used to that and I kind of, if anything, I wanted to prove them wrong. And I also wanted to not let them down. Like it was a conflicting thing. But I'm telling you this because the growth mindset, like I had to make so many mistakes with egg on my face. I remember, like you were saying, like we were in France and I was at the back of the scrum and I went down the short side because I looked up and I thought, right, grand, I have just a 9 here. Like but I got thrown out and Paula.
I've done that before. You forget that back rows get off the scrum.
Oh,
and
listen,
get you.
Paula was like, don't you ever do that again. I was like, and I just knew I'd let her down. I suppose the communication wasn't nice from any of them. Like they were tough, but like they had standards, and I was to come in, and if I was going to take
You'd
a
get up
jersey,
to
I
their
need
pace, don't you?
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I wasn't against any of that. Like because 2017, I got like Player of the Year, but it was the players who voted for it. So eventually, with all of that
that's the best
torture,
one,
like
isn't it?
that was the
Yeah.
best one, and probably one of the. I'm not into individual, but that
Those
means
ones are good
more
though, yeah.
because they voted. It wasn't
Yeah.
that I got Player of the Year. I didn't do anything substantial. I think I just finally knew what I was doing, and I was getting a few tries and doing my job basically.
Yeah.
But I remember Tom going to me. He goes, "If I've one feedback for you, I scored a try against Italy, right? But I didn't know. I knew I scored, but I wasn't going celebrating. But there was not enough video, I'd say, to say was it down or not. But it was definitely down on the line. He goes, you need to celebrate because we didn't need a question. And I was like, but yeah, well, I was surprised myself I scored. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. But the lads these days we can't talk about growth mindset. I'm telling you all this because I had to mistake to learn. It was tough learnings, as you would have had with Munster. And I am all around the arm around the shoulder, but if we're not honest in our feedback, then how do we have the growth mindset? Because
sometimes,
yeah, like you have to, like that's what I say to the girls last year. Like make mistakes. I'd rather you make a mistake trying than not making a mistake not trying at all. Yeah. Like you're so scared. That's why you're
be on the edge
mistake.
of brilliance. Because
like if you look at any greats across the sport, male or female, they can't sit there. Like Michael Jordan said, he took how many shots, before he made the winning shot. He did that because he had to do all the misses. He wanted to adjust every time. And if you're not doing the outside bit, that's what I say to the girls with scrum. I only have so much with you. You will learn so much in a game. But even if it's just like 20 minutes of doing your setup with your scrum, so it's second nature to you. So you're able to adjust no matter what when you go into live scrums. Because I said, I can't do that for you. And every time you change hooker, you will change your setup a little bit. So that's the hardest bit, I think, of coaching now is I want them to enjoy it. I want them to learn, but I want them to make mistakes and be okay with making mistakes. They're not infallible. Like you have to make mistakes in life because that's how you learn. So that's the hardest bit, I think. And where do we find that now with the new generation?
With the balance, yeah.
Well, for us anyway, I suppose, because the female games, no matter what sport we're talking about, has, we're a lot behind. So now women are getting a lot, exposed to a lot better coaching, early exposure at underage. So their skill set is through the roof.
Yeah.
But then they're not from a school of hard knocks like some of us, where we had to learn on the job, and you were learning at a rate of knots, and there was no time to get things right. You just got it right or you got tubed. It's nice to see the skill level. It's lovely to see, the World Cup recently was unbelievable. I went over for the women's, and the girls, so
felt like
proud.
a big moment. We did the first game, and I hadn't watched a lot of women's rugby in a year or two, and it was a massive difference,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
The skill level, and some of the players, some of the even sevens integrated back in, you see them. I don't get to see a lot of sevens because on weekends and you might be playing. But then to get to see their skill level in the 15s game, and it was lovely to see especially the way you say the Black Ferns do it. We've had our sevens integrated a long time now, which is phenomenal, and you can see the difference in them. Amy Lee and Eve, they're
brilliant.
Unbelievable. I'm only naming two. Obviously Erin King missed out. Dorothy Wall missed out. Dora's back now at Exeter, and it's just so lovely. And it's funny because I played with Dora when she first came in, and I suppose I saw the softer side because I was I said that to her. I was like, well, I'm now admitting, even though I sent her a voice note or a text and I said I'm not admitting this openly, but I was so emotional seeing her reel and getting back on the pitch, and even seeing her grow into the leader that she is. And I suppose our John Cronin always say to us, you go in, you come in, you have a good season, and then you'll go into the pit, and the pit is really when you just are lost and you're kind of missing, and then everything then makes sense when you're coming out of the pit. And I suppose that happens for younger players, and as I said, just to see Dorothy again, just to name but one,
come through it again,
Pavin Parsons, another Avian Riley, they've all been through injuries and such skillful players and just lovely people. But to see their trajectory, and then Aoife Wafer obviously come back and she had her debut with Queen's, an absolute superstar, so it's lovely to see. And we were in Brighton, and I swear to God, the place was flooded. They speak about their green wave, but we flooded the streets of Brighton with just green, and it was you could have been anywhere. You could have been in the Aviva, you could have been in Croke Park. Yeah. Fields of Athenry, the Cranberry was bouncing. Many people. There was these people, young ones dressed up as bananas, and they were like, "Oh, can we get a picture with you?" And they were from Nace Rugby, and you're like, just a rugby community.
Seeing them where they come from and the journeys they make.
Fabulous. It was a fabulous way to connect, and I just thought, to be fair to English rugby, they put on a really good show, and just to spread it throughout the stadium. But even so smart to, like, obviously the opening round was in the Stadium of Light. Like, Sunderland is renowned, but they've tried to expose like rugby up to north, because it's obviously predominantly soccer and rugby league.
Rugby league up there, yeah.
So it's just phenomenal to see the growth of it, and I just hope now in Australia now in 2027 that they'll be able to build on that, because like the figures, they absolutely, I think ticket sales alone had surpassed the opening round for what the final was in the previous World Cup in New Zealand, which is saying something, considering New Zealand is like rugby is
rugby
their
central,
brand.
Did you find, was rugby the one that you found eventually?
I suppose for my physicality and how I wanted to play, like, you know, growing up with the lads and being able to, there's a joy in that, to be able to use, I suppose that was my superpower, was just being physically a lot superior. And, you know, we were progressive with some of the lads we had for S&C. So like Mark Ingle was hugely progressive in his thoughts around it. And so we'd loads. I was good with who I was exposed to as well on the journey, and who like what time they give and how they thought about games and what they wanted to do. So that was good. But I suppose rugby was always something I wanted to try. Like, I always watched it. I always loved Six Nations.
Yeah, did you always support it?
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I was like, this is a sport I think I could do. But I never thought of like international level or anything like that. That wasn't. I just wanted to try it for something new. And I suppose at that stage as well, I was heartbroken with like GA, and then like basketball, I'd done everything. Like, I'd done everything and I'd saturated it. Like, I'd lost the love for it. So it was nice to try something new. So, but do you know what was that most annoying thing? Because all of my sports were like, we used to play fast break basketball, and then we used to like be trying to move the ball so quickly with like with Dublin. Like, so again, our athleticism and our speed and our pace and our strength. Like, so you were trying to, I suppose, suffocate teams in that sense. And then I go to this sport where you have to go backwards to go forwards, and I was like, this is bananas.
More learning on the fly.
I was like, how does this work? And I want to go fast all the time. And you always have to be 2 steps ahead with rugby. You it's like a game of chess. So like you're thinking, you know, this phases ahead.
Yeah.
You know, what's the plan? And it's actually so tactical. You know, you're looking at the front row, and then you have to learn the game itself. And there's so many facets to it, you know. And as a forward, like, people look at forwards and like the second rows actually get no credit. Like the likes of James Ryan and even Darrow now.
James Ryan doesn't get enough credit.
He doesn't get enough credit for the work he does, unless you understand the game.
No one would see it. Yeah, unless you know it.
No, same with like Darrow being back. I'm very good friends with Cleena Maloney, and I was like, oh, so good having Darrow back, isn't it? And it's great to see her. She said, like, it's night and day the work she gives, and no one would see that. Like the amount of work she does.
Just making people look better.
Your engine are actually your second row.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no one gives them credit for that. And like so the pack, that was another thing. Like, you know, I thought I was fit. Well, I was disgusted now when they asked me to go to the front row. I was like,
I thought you would be rocking in at
but you were
10.
the new age prop, like a new modern prop.
Like, how did you find prop? Surely you thought, coming from that background, I'll rock into the bags.
Well, you see, I started club as a number 8, so it was nice that I was able to kind of play, you know, as 8. And I've gone back to 8 in the last 2 seasons and probably played some of my best rugby. And it's nice to see that I've actually learned something over the kind of 10 years, because I can actually, things I did at the start as an 8, it was stupid, you know, stupid decision. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stupid, like, which Paula deserved to absolutely eat me for. But like, now it's and I suppose with age you come smarter, because I'm losing fitness, but you know, hopefully the IQ is
you're more ahead of the game than you would have been when you were younger.
So these cheat lines that I used to like, how was Maz getting there before me? Like, she used to, her understanding of the game with cheat line running, I was like, I need to follow her. So you pick up all these things, and that's the one thing I've learned. If I have any advice for younger players, like, don't be afraid to say, I don't understand, ask questions.
There's so much to rugby, isn't there? Like, when there's so many different aspects to it that you like. You need to be constantly asking questions.
100%.
I mean, that's the worry about leaving the game now. In a year's time, you're going to be ringing up the lads and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what is this role?
Yeah.
Like, if you go down commentary,
changes so much,
That's the one thing, like, you know, what are the rule changes? And your job is to explain to people, and as well to, like, explain it to, like, even say the hooker, the break foot, like, you have to make sure, like, why is the referee calling that? Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, it wasn't safety, or they moved their break foot, or, you know. So it's stuff like that. But like the one muscle and all the gym work we've done, the one muscle is probably hopefully got one workout is the brain. So
100%.
And it's nice. It keeps you young, and keeps, for me, like, I don't have too much energy to be a reader, even though I love information. So like I love it through conversation or definitely through watching, you know, videos or games or stuff like that. And you know, I love nothing more than like Shirley Corcoran would have been, you know, an older player that very experienced when I came into Railway. John Cronin, the same thing, and they just bread and butter. Like is they're just chatting and asking them questions, and there's nothing nicer than over a pint of Guinness, you know, getting to know them, but also asking them about the game, like you know, and that's how friendships are forged. And now we try and not talk about rugby, but you know, they're
probably fall into it. Yeah.
Well, you fall into it. Well, like a lovely story from yesterday. Like Katie O'Dora's one, like she played international. We met through Railway, and she was playing in Croke Park yesterday with her Camogie club. This is their first All Ireland club in a long time, I think. And for 9 of us went to Croke Park from the rugby, and we made her signs and had cap masks on.
That's
and
special,
that's the story.
Those type of relationships, yeah.
But it's a nice crossover. Yeah, well, seemingly the football girl said rugby players are built different, so are different. So we're a bit of crack and a bit of madness.
True, I think so. Yeah.
So we made our mark anyway on that.
Buzz balls.
Yeah, we had a few buzz balls.
And you made your mark on the front row. That was your natural home. How much did you enjoy the challenge on there?
Sorry, you did ask me that. When it was John Cronin who said, well, Ireland are looking for players to recruit for the 2017 World Cup. So I had started with Railway in 2015. And when he said to me about going front row, I was like, are you for real? I said, I'm not here for international. Like, I've just lost an All Ireland return. I've just come here for a bit of crack and make some new friends.
Don't want a hardship in there in the front row.
And then I was offended because I was like, do you think I'm fat? Like, I actually said that to him.
And I know you said it to him. You definitely said it to him.
I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
So anyway, he said, no, I think you'd be good there. And I was like, right, let's give it a go. Oh, it was a baptism. Like you
need to be tapped to be a front row as well. So they're probably like you can hold your own in there.
Preach.
Absolutely made for it.
Yeah. Well, it is a fair. Yeah. Well, we've moved.
Mental.
They are mental.
Yeah. Completely different breed.
Who's the most mental front row?
Dave Kilcoyne, without a shadow of a doubt.
Jeez, you didn't even take a breath.
No,
for that.
not at all. No, and there's like Furlong's mental. Porter's men, they're all
yeah, they are. You can smell it off them, to be honest.
And they go and they all have their own, like they'd go out and have their own meals, like front row club, and they go and have their own steaks the night before a game and all, like, so they're very much.
They probably have half a cow. Yeah, we are.
You just go around the corner from the Shelburne to that fire restaurant and they just
and have a big feed,
and they would have a huge feed. Yeah, no, never invited. No one's like never.
Well, we do have.
You boys are in the salad.
Yeah, we're in the Caesar salads.
Well, they go. The backs kind of hold hands and give each other hugs and brush each other's hair, and you know what I mean. Like we don't do that in the front row. We're like salivating, like we starve ourselves to make sure we're game
shouldering
ready.
Each other, walking around, just shouldering each other.
Or your chest pumping, or fist pumping. Yeah, we are a bit cracked. Actually, I'd love a night out with them boys.
Yeah,
I'd probably die, but anyway.
You probably kill them.
Yeah.
No, it's good crack. The front row was tough. Like, actually, I love scrums now, but when we first got into it, I was like, what is the purpose of this? This is ridiculous. Yeah. It's savage, I can't imagine old scrum, like looking at old scrums where they just like basically launched into one another. I was like,
it's lawless when you look at the clips, isn't it?
Like, and actually I had 2 bulging discs that would switched off the power in my arm from scrums. But when I eventually got the hang of them, like, I did love it, but it took me a while. Like, I was dicked on so many times by unbelievable tie heads. But I was very lucky with Ailish Egan. But I remember she hated me one day. We played Belvo and we had a great, like, so I was loose head for Railway and she was tie head for Belvo. Like, and this was coming up against like a world class prop.
Yeah.
And I remember we got a penalty against them. We absolutely shoved them over and I landed on Ailish. And this is how impulsive and stupid I am at times. Gave her a kiss on the cheek and I was like, whoa. And she went, now I mean the colour that year.
Really?
She was like, ref, like she was beside herself
for a little peck on the cheek.
Oh yeah,
that's you'd rather dig in the face than a peck on the cheek.
I know, and then I was like, you know, when you come to, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you're an asshole. You're such an asshole. But I was that's how impulsive and the excitement, and
big moment.
It was from a good place. Yeah. And she wants
respect for her.
Yeah, I hope she sees that now. I was like,
we haven't spoken since.
Yeah, I was like, copious, like every pint of Guinness I could buy for her. I was like, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I did. Thankfully, I think she forgave me. But like, it was a dick move. But at the same time, I was so excited that I just beat one of the best players I'd ever played with and against in that position.
I'm sure she sees that now after.
Well, I'm hoping, because she did a lot for us. She took me and
Yeah.
Clean under her wing. But like, that's also how mad the front row are.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
sure Dave Kilcoyne has done that many a time worse.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, and worse. Yeah. We won't get into that.
But I loved it then, and I did want to bring the, like, I suppose when I first came in, it was the one thing I noticed, that there was this like poor opinion of the front row and what we do and what we bring, and I was like, nah, shag this, because I wanted to bring that we could be as skillful and more than geez, Eilish was like, Eilish was so mobile and so quick and so skillful and so smart. Like some of the girls I played with were ridiculously like, their IQ was through the roof. Like, so that was another fascinating, not that, by the way, any athletes I played with, it was just different.
Yeah, of course.
Because of the way the game was. So you got to see that side of it. It wasn't that, like, I played with obviously hugely intelligent people, but just their IQ. But then, for that, I wanted to, like, I did
take it to another level, kind of.
Yeah, like, I remember Ed was our Ed Slattery was our S&C at the time, and I remember just, there was a couple of us in for extra training, getting ready for a World Cup, and like, now, by the time we got to the World Cup, I was like 79 kg. I was just too light. I was hot. Yeah, I was struggling to, because Tom had us. Oh my God, if we did another up down, it was like up down, everything we do, real old school training. But like Tom was like, he was one of the first lads to go pro in England. Like he went over. He was such a skillful man, and like, I loved Tom. Like, we all did, and he was such a good man for Bowsy.
One of the best.
Bowsy, but you know what? His Lord rest him, when his wife gave her eulogy, she spoke so beautifully of him and understood him, and like, she like nailed in the head. Like, you know, and she, like, we were in tears, we were laughing, like, it was beautiful, and like, she knew her husband very well. But she didn't, like, she knew he was a Bowsy. He was a Bowsy, but he was brilliant. And he brought that, like, he brought us together so much. Remember, we had a week in France, like, and there was sing-songs, and we'd make sure we'd have beers after games.
Yeah, he's that in school, isn't he?
He was just brilliant. But in that, we wanted to, like, Cleena was there as well as hooker, and we used to train so much. You'd be in the gym in Rings End, then you'd go out and railway pitch, you'd be running, then we'd go home, we'd make a steak. But I was struggling out to keep on weight because there was so much fitness on. But we did bring that level and what we wanted for front row. Like, we wanted to be those athletes and skillful. And, we probably, I'd say by the time we got to 2017 World Cup, unfortunately, we were probably overtrained. Because we,
do you reckon,
because that Six Nations before we played England in Donnybrook for the Grand Slam. And we lost in the end, but we kept up with them for like 60 minutes. But like, on the bench was Amy Cockayne. You're looking at Amy Cockayne now, is like, she's sitting there with a World Cup medal. Like, she's one of the integral parts of English rugby, and this is where she was coming off the bench. Like, and that's what killed us, was their bench was so like world class.
Yeah.
So, and then you'd like Sarah Byrne coming in 2017, and even see their underage programs, like they were getting so many test games. Like, England just had so many test games. Like, so these young players coming in at 18,
they're just exposed to
there's so many caps. Like, look at their cap numbers now. So thankfully now, with the new like WXV and like all the test matches the lads get now, like, my one regret was not having 50 caps, but the amount of Six Nations I went through, we were only getting like, we were only getting 5 games and not a lot of test matches in between. Like, but I wouldn't change it.
Did you cherish every moment almost because it came so late? Did it make it extra special in a way?
I did when I came round to it. It took me a long time to feel comfortable with it. Like, the 2016, like, my son came our son came 10 and a half weeks early. He was born, like, so my first cap was the 14th November 2015. He was born the 29th. So the first Six Nations was in the old window with the lads. So he was only he was tiny. He only got out, but I have a great picture with the girls after we played, I think, Wales. He's like little Tinchy. And that was lovely for me because I was the first parent to have,
Were you?
Yeah.
Go away.
As far as I remember, so I was able to bring him games, and my only wish, because it was during COVID, I retired in 21 against the USA, was to get Barra on the pitch, and fair play to Dan Sheridan. I got him on my shoulders, and
You'll find a way, you want to, Dan.
Yeah, and he was just brilliant. And I have him in Kingspan in 2017. I have him in my arms, and like, every moment he got on the pitch with me, and that was special because he was able to be on that journey with me.
Share a bit of it.
Yeah, and I remember when I got him on the pitch against USA, he went into school the next day, and his friend Max plays for Bective, and Max was like, I was at that game. How did you get on the pitch? And like Barra was like,
he was a hero in school.
My mama plays.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? So yeah, and then there's a couple.
So cool for them. So cool.
So it was deadly, but yeah, when I got in on the front row, like I was a very proud loosehead, and I made sure that that I was proud of that, and I wouldn't change the number 1 jersey for anything. And I loved it. I loved every moment of it. And yeah, the one regret is probably not having been there in time. But the peak of that, I have to give credit, is that unfortunately the club didn't get to see enough of me. So the club who introduced me and the players who introduced me and the management, didn't get to see me while I played for Ireland. And they definitely got to see the grumpy, frustrated, stressful me, because I had a young baby at home. I was not long married, and now I was starting this from what was meant to be a retired part of life. Now
it's a complete flip,
yeah. And Claire was pregnant at the time when I started, and so I took away an awful lot from that. But yeah, she unselfishly told me to go for it, and
looked after
even though it took away a lot of time and put a lot of pressure on us, and yeah, that pressure probably told. But yeah, the perks were then Barra got to travel a lot of that journey with me, and
class.
I loved it. And yeah, but I've been back with the club, and I think a very different version of me, and they've gotten to see the personality.
Nice to go back,
I've enjoyed just playing rugby and not being under the stress of being international. And I suppose as an ageing athlete, I had so much experience on some levels, but then I had to take my recovery a lot differently, and but then with a young baby, my gym was at 9 o'clock at night, whatever way I could fit it in. Like they might do, they might do morning sessions at 6, but thankfully Orla and Ed were kind of like, you do it when you can, because the stress was counterintuitive to what we were trying to do. Like if the body's under stress, you're not going to be getting the gains or recovering, or so yeah.